When you put something on the market now, it might just sit there for 2 or 3 days before it gets its first showing. People aren't used to that. Now we're in this like stagflation of real estate where it's like the stats that the PBD podcast, this is what they say according to the podcast. Okay. It's right here. No, he's shitting on Hillary Clinton there. That's not it. There's going to be, here it is right here. A few factors on why people aren't buying or selling a house. 92 of Americans have a mortgage below 6% right now. 61% are below 4%. 23% are below 3%. And this is, again, the PBD podcast on Twitter that, doing this. He says that Americans are running out of savings, that there was something like $3 trillion in savings, and now we're down to $800 billion. Yeah, this is it. So yep. These are all the stats. Now, people, the financial wizards on the internets are really pushing this, and I think this post sums it up very nicely. But also, do you know what the typical inventory is in housing on a balanced market in the United States? 4 million homes for sale. We got 1 million right now. We got 25% of the inventory nationwide. Okay. Why is that? A lot of this probably has a lot to do with it. What one stat he doesn't say in there is how many of those homes are owned cash. It's actually a crazy high number. If you see it, I don't remember what it is, so I'm not even going to try to quote it. But you wouldn't think there would be that many free and clear homes out there. But there's a ton of free and clear homes out there. So people aren't going to sell those right now, even though they could potentially get the highest price for it ever. But the problem is they got to go replace it. And
maybe if they own those cash houses, just remember, everyone had cash freezes. So a lot of people probably bought those homes cash. And what happens, and this goes back to a comment you made before when you were roughnecking and you were just by yourself, you bought a lot of stuff that you didn't need, right? And there's a lot of people that buy a house because it generates cash flow and they want to leave it to their kids or they want to do something. But then guess what? Somebody's unfaithful.
That's right. So divorce.
Right? And so they got to sell the property, and they usually that's when you're going to start seeing that. Like you'll see the prices come down because they have to.
But supply and demand.
There's a lot of them. If there's a lot of cash houses out there, we'll see.
Well, this right here doesn't really touch supply and demand. It's it's all gibberish. I mean, people leaving politics out of everything. How many new Americans, legal or otherwise, are coming into our nation right now?
Well, they're buying cash too, right? Aren't those the ones that are buying the? Aren't those the ones buying the?
These are people that are just getting thrown in hotels. I'm talking about the southern border crisis. Okay, regardless of how you feel about it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many millions of people, whoever you
need
believe,
a place to live somewhere.
They're gonna live somewhere. Okay, so that's one. Two, you're talking about development. If you look around in Dallas or Texas in general, it's hard to spot what's going on because there's still building going on.
Yeah.
But those margins are getting squeezed because of the interest rates, because a lot of those people are having to borrow that money to go out and build. So they're borrowing that money to go out and build. It's squeezing their margins. They're not probably comfortable with it, and there's not a big line of buyers waiting. When you put something on the market now, it might just sit there for 2 or 3 days before it gets its first showing. People aren't used to that. They got conditioned to a different market. And so because of that initial shock, plus the lenders and their problems that they're having, probably tightening the money supply, they can't build as many homes. They can't build as many apartments. It hasn't happened yet because those projects were already budgeted, already approved, and already done. But after all of that inventory gets built, is there going to be people out there taking a risk, or are there going to be people out there that are taking the risk to build new inventory? And if the answer ain't yes, okay, then we got to look at the just straight fundamentals. If you get laid off tomorrow, which I don't know, what's your move? Are you going to sell your home? Are you going to cash your equity out of your home? Would that solve your problem? Would that be a viable solution for you, selling your house?
No,
Okay, so
I'm all right.
Yeah, so most people are like that. Most people are like that. It's like everybody wants it to be. Another stat they keep touting in this is that people are now using 41% of their income, because you take the average income of the Americans and using 41% of it to purchase a house if they're buying in today's market. But that's not 41% is a fictitious number. Why? You're not taking into account home buyers. You're taking into account Americans. Okay.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.